Today on Personal Injury Court.
The second the spoon hit my tongue, my eyes started tearing up, they started swelling, my skin started itching, my throat started constricting.
Just like that?
Just like that, instantly.
That's what your face looked like that day?
Yes, Your Honor.
She's hysterical, and she's telling me that I tried to kill her.
You are suing your co-worker for $60,000. Is it fair to describe this as a life or death situation?
This is absolutely a life or death situation.
Can you smell the peanut?
That's such
Are
a
you telling me that
subjective
because you're allergic,
quality.
you don't know
This
the
is
smell
so
of peanut?
serious, you're going to literally...
We're going to have order in this court.
Judge Gino Brogdon spent 10 years on the bench ruling on cases worth billions of dollars. Now he presides over some of the largest claims in TV history. This is Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Darling versus French. Miss Darling, it's my understanding from the documents you filed with this court that you are suing a co-worker for injuries that you believe she caused while you were at work. You're asking this court to award you $15,000 for past medical expenses and $45,000 for pain and suffering for a total award of $60,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Miss French, you believe this is not your fault. If she had acted properly and safely, she would not have been harmed. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's get into the legal sauce. Y'all work together, right?
Yes, Your Honor. I've been working here for 3 years. We work at a nut-free factory. We make nut-free vegetable-based cookies and crackers. I actually have allergies myself. They've gotten worse as I've gotten older. And so this is the perfect job for me. And this is where we met and we became friends.
So it's gotta be weird, Miss French, that you are getting sued by a former friend and coworker.
Your Honor, I've been working in the company for a year and a half. I was really surprised that we became friends because we had so much in common. We like the same movies, we like the same music, we talk a lot about food. And I wasn't looking for a nut-free environment, but I myself have some allergies, so I understand what she's going through. And to be honest, Your Honor, I'm really concerned because we're still working together. So a lawsuit, what is going to happen now?
Well, lawsuits never make relationships better, but we're gonna figure this out today. Now, Miss Darling, tell me what happened.
Well, Your Honor, we have lunch from 12 to 1 o'clock. That is the only break we have during our very hectic day.
All right.
Food, anything. And I was starving. I had not been able to eat breakfast earlier that day. And Carla and I usually eat together for lunch every day, and I actually had let her borrow $15 the week before, and so she said she was bringing us lunch. So lunchtime hits, and I am starving. I'm walking around trying to find her, and I can't find her. I don't know where she is. I can't wait anymore, Your Honor. I go to the refrigerator, I open it up, and there's 2 containers, say do not touch with our names on it. So I grab the one with my name on it. I didn't think twice. I go back to my desk, and Your Honor, the second the spoon hit my tongue, everything changed. My eyes started tearing up, they started swelling, my skin started itching, my lips started tingling, my throat started constricting.
Just like that?
Just like that, instantly. Like, it went bad real fast. It was I've never been through anything like that, and it was the scariest thing I've ever been through. I literally knew that this was life or death.
That's what your face looked like that day?
Yes, Your Honor. And
that's not even the same woman.
I was in such a frenzy, I was in such a panic. Some small part of me remembered that I had my auto-injectable device somewhere in my desk. So I can barely see, I can barely breathe, and I'm trying, to panic. I'm trying to find it. In my frenzy, I literally hit my head so hard.
So that's how you got that bruise on your head?
Yes, Your Honor. But the grace of God, I found the auto-injectable device. I stabbed myself in the thigh, and I was able to breathe again within a couple minutes. And one of my coworkers called 911.
So all of this is from an allergy, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
What are you allergic to?
Peanuts.
Oh. I've got a really good friend that has a peanut allergy. He's always nervous when we get on airplanes if it's one of those airlines that serves peanuts.
For good reason.
For him, it's a life and death kind of situation. Is that the way it was for you?
Absolutely. I came to, and I'm in the ER, and I had such a severe reaction that they actually required me to stay overnight. This wasn't a...
So you passed out and then wake up in the ER? Miss French, what did you make that had peanuts in it?
Okay, Your Honor, the night before, I was cooking some chili because she lent me some money last week, so I wanted to make something nice for her. So this recipe is my grandma's recipe, and it has been in the family for generations.
Okay.
So I was cooking the chili last night, and I separated some batch for her. So there were 2 containers, right?
Right.
And I put the names on the lids. So after I put the lids on it, I realized that the name were wrong. So what I did is I just taped the containers and I sealed them really tight. And I put do not touch on the containers because I know
But you
it's
said
allergic.
you separated it. Why are you separating it?
Your Honor, the secret ingredient that my grandma has for this specific recipe is peanut butter.
In chili?
Yes, Your Honor, and it tastes really good. And we were supposed to have lunch together, but I was called to a meeting at 12. My boss called me. So I went to the meeting, and 15 minutes later, I came out of the meeting, I went to the fridge, and I realized that she took the wrong container, even though they were taped.
You had to be panicked.
Exactly, I panicked, so I went to my desk and I asked what happened to Tanya, and then somebody told me that she was rushed to the hospital. So I was really concerned about her. So I called her, and she's hysterical, and she's telling me that I tried to kill her. This is serious accusation. I mean, tried to kill her?
Would you not be
But
hysterical?
you knew she had a peanut allergy, right?
Coming up,
So you saw your name on top, and that's why you thought it was yours.
Yes.
But you did see do not touch,
I
right?
thought that was for everyone else.
This court has consulted an internal medicine physician.
So food allergies can range from mild to severe. It could be hives, so the welts across the arms, or it can be swelling and redness in a particular part of the face. Severe allergies can progress to anaphylaxis.
I would like a little bit of that chili.
Of course, Your Honor.
And there's 2 containers, so I grabbed the one with my name on it. The second the spoon hit my tongue, lips started tingling, my throat started constricting.
Just like that.
Just like that. This was life or death.
I realized that the name were wrong. So I just taped the containers and I put do not touch.
So it's taped, right?
Your Honor, I asked her if it had
And there's a
peanut butter.
sign on it, right? That says do
Yes.
not touch.
Your Honor, I brought the chili, the containers. This is how it looks. You see, they were taped. It's tape on it and it says do not touch.
So if it looks like that, don't you
I
wait?
asked her if there was peanut butter in it. She said no. She lied to my face. And the sign, do not touch, I thought it was for everyone else. We had already agreed we were eating together, and these were 2 containers together, me and her. And it had my name on it.
It
Sheriff,
says do
will you
not
get the chili
touch.
for me?
She should have waited for me. It's taped, Your Honor. You see, it's completely taped. It's sealed tight.
So is this how you found it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And this is how you taped it, Miss French?
Yes, Your Honor.
So it's taped around here, all right? They kind of let you know that somebody's trying to keep these together.
My first,
So you saw your name on top,
yes, Your
right?
Honor.
And that's why you thought it was yours.
Yes.
But you did see do not touch,
I
right?
thought that was for everyone else. That was honestly my instant inclination. We had already talked that we were eating. I mean, why would you bring anything with peanuts?
Well, I don't have any peanut allergies. My only allergy is not getting enough food, okay? But you knew she had an allergy, right?
Yes, I knew. And Your Honor, I brought some chili here to show you the difference.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Your Honor, this is the chili without peanut butter. And you can see it's really thin. See?
That looks like more of something I would make.
Exactly. And even the color is different.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this one is thicker, Your Honor. Look
Now,
at
this is your grandmother's recipe.
This is my grandma's recipe. I have something if you want to try. Actually, from here, you can smell the peanut butter. I mean, you can smell it has peanuts. So when she heat it up, she can smell the peanuts.
She should have
I'm
smelled the
supposed to
peanuts.
sniff everything? I have an allergy.
Well, isn't that the point,
And
though? I
everyone's
mean, don't
sense
you
of
pay
smell is
attention to your
different.
nose?
Exactly. Can
That
you
is
smell the peanuts?
That's such
Are
a
you telling me that
subjective
because you're allergic,
quality.
you don't know the
This
smell
is
of
so
peanuts?
serious. You're going to literally.
We're gonna have order in this court. Y'all can't talk to each other. Talk to me. Miss French, if you've got a bowl or something over there, I would like a little bit of that chili.
Of course, Your Honor.
Or,
Next.
so what you did was break this tape off, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, you had to overcome tape. Didn't this say something to you? Sheriff, will you get Dr. Casaboy in here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anaphylaxis, the symptoms include difficulty breathing to cardiac arrest and death.
Miss French, you know you created a life or death situation with this peanut butter in the chili. Do you see that?
My eyes started tearing up. They started swelling. My skin started itching.
The secret ingredient that my grandma has for this specific recipe is peanut butter.
But you knew she had a peanut allergy, right? I would like a little bit of that chili.
Of course, Your Honor.
And because I've already eaten lunch, Sheriff Matt's gonna taste it for me. So smell it first, Sheriff. Does it smell like peanuts?
Yeah, smells like peanut butter. It's pretty strong, actually.
And you didn't smell peanuts when
I don't go around sniffing things. I have an allergy. I honestly, you would think.
You get a spoon close to your mouth and you don't smell peanuts.
Talk to me. You did say you were hungry, but I mean, you were cannibal hungry not to smell that, right?
I was so hungry. I saw my name. I didn't even once think there's peanut butter in there.
In order to understand your allergies from a medical perspective, this court has consulted an internal medicine physician, Dr. Arifa Casaboy. Sheriff, will you get Dr. Casaboy in here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good day, doctor.
Hello.
How do you develop food allergies?
So the classic food allergies develop when the body's defense system has an abnormal response to a food. So in the case of peanuts, the allergic autoantibody of the immune system attacks a protein in the food, and that sets off a cascade of chemical reactions that result in the symptoms of the allergy. And this can happen very fast, within minutes to a few hours.
Doctor, how do food allergies affect different people in different ways?
So food allergies can range from mild to severe. The mild symptoms, you may get a rash. So it could be hives, so the welts across the arms in this picture, or it could be swelling and redness in a particular part of the face, just like this gentleman with the lips. And then you can also get symptoms that are similar to seasonal allergies. So the runny nose with sneezing, itchy, watery eyes. With severe allergies, you can progress to anaphylaxis. Now, with anaphylaxis, the symptoms include difficulty breathing or wheezing. It may be that the person feels that they're getting nauseous and vomiting. They may have throat, tongue swelling, and not be able to pass air because of that. Again, the skin reactions can occur. And this can progress to cardiac arrest and death.
Doctor, Miss Darling had pictures as well as she talked about her face and lips swelling. How long does that swelling last?
Well, that will depend on how quickly she gets treatment.
Is it
and the
fair to
recovery.
describe this as a life or death situation?
This is absolutely a life or death situation.
Thank you, doctor. We appreciate you. You're
Thank
really
you.
Miss French, you know you created a life or death situation with this peanut butter in the chili. Do you see that?
Yes, but Your Honor, I mean, she took the wrong container. She should have waited for me. I was in a meeting. We were supposed to have lunch together, like we do several times. So why she couldn't wait? It was just 15 minutes.
Well,
she took the wrong container, and it's labeled. It said, "Do not touch."
Your Honor, we only
She
get
taped
an
it.
hour for lunch.
So what you did was break this tape off, right? And get the one that had your name on it, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, you had to overcome tape. Didn't this say something to you?
I thought they were grouped for her and I. The do not touch sign was for everyone else. That is what I assumed.
Couldn't you have
I
waited?
never once thought there would be, why would you bring peanut butter Your friend has a peanut butter allergy. Why even risk it? And no, I couldn't wait for it. I was too hungry. We work at a nut-free factory.
Some folks say haste makes waste, but haste makes harm. Folks, I think I've heard what I need to hear. I'm ready to render my decision.
The verdict is in.
In this case, you've put up evidence that Miss French knew about your allergy to peanuts. She prepared this meal for you, put your name on it. You took one taste of this chili and you knew you were in trouble. Miss French, you went through the extra precaution for taping these containers and trying to protect her. And you believe her injuries are her problem.
There's 2 containers, say do not touch with our names on it. So I grabbed the one with my name on it. The second the spoon hit my tongue, I literally knew that this was life or death.
She's hysterical, and she's telling me that I tried to kill her.
Folks, I think I've heard what I need to hear. I'm ready to render my decision. In every personal injury case, the plaintiff has to prove that the defendant was wrong, that the defendant's wrong caused your injuries. You've proven your injuries. In this case, you've put up evidence that Miss French knew about your allergy to peanuts. She also knew that you were kind of a hungry person when lunchtime came around, and that you love to eat and you like to eat her food. She prepared this meal for you, put your name on it, put it in the fridge. It did have the tape on it and the do not touch, but you thought that was for everybody else. You took one taste of this chili and you knew you were in trouble. Within moments, you had to use your pen and you found yourself in the emergency room. A very, very, very scary situation. Miss French, this boggles your mind based on how you have handled yourself in this courtroom. You seem like you don't understand why she didn't just wait. You went through the extra precaution, and you should get kudos for that, for taping these containers and trying to protect her. You went and put a sign on and said, do not touch. And she disregarded that to her own peril, and you believe her injuries are her problem, her responsibility. You should not be held responsible. Well, the legal principle that applies to this case is very simple. Where there is risk, everyone must act reasonably to address the risk and lessen the likelihood of harm. Both of you have that responsibility. Where this case gets skewed is where you create the risk, and a real risk. It's a risk of life and death. When you brought this peanut chili into the workplace for her to eat, and you put her name on the wrong one, you created a deadly risk. And the law holds you responsible for that, to act even at a higher level to make sure that she is safe. You did not do so. You have proven that Miss French is wrong and that her wrong caused your injuries. And that's why I'm going to find in your favor and award you $15,000 for past medicals and $45,000 for your pain and suffering, for a total award of $60,000 against the defendant. That's my final award, and this matter is adjourned.
Thank you.
Personal Injury Court.
Good day, everyone. This is the matter of Richardson versus Hickman. Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, it's my understanding that you all are suing Mr. Hickman for injuries, severe shoulder injury that you sustained when you slipped on peanuts at his restaurant. You're asking this court to award you $125,000 for medical expenses, $200,000 for pain and suffering, and a total award of $325,000. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hickman, you believe she slipped on peanuts that were there. She should have known they were there, and it's not your fault, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's get into the legal sauce. Why did y'all choose this restaurant?
Well, Your Honor, I retired after 30 years in the school system.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So 30 years, thank you. So after 30 years being with children, I was finally glad to be over with the school system, so I decided to have a retirement party. I was going to invite some friends and family and co-workers to this place, and I chose this restaurant because it was a little on the casual side, and some of my friends are not very upscale. You know, they like a little casual atmosphere.
Now, folks have different kinds of retirement parties. In fact, the sheriffs that used to take care of me many years ago, when these older gentlemen and women would have a party, some of them would have the fun party, some of them would have the formal sit-down.
Right.
Which one was yours? Was it fun or formal?
Mine was a fun party because I had some diversified friends, so I figured, let's go to this restaurant. I heard the food was great. But when I walked in and looked at it, you know, there was a few peanut shells. I just thought they didn't sweep up that day.
So peanut shells on the floor, Mr. Hickman, is that what happens at your place?
Yeah, it's a staple of our place. It's part of the fun atmosphere that we have. It's you know, my restaurant, and my dad gave it to me. In 16 years, we've always had peanut shells on the ground. It's just a fun thing where the patrons eat the peanuts and then throw the shells.
So they eat the peanuts and then they throw them on the floor. Now,
Correct.
What happens with the shells?
The shells are just on the ground and we walk on them, but it's just part of the country theme.
So it's part of the shtick of your restaurant.
Correct.
And I imagine it's pretty popular. That's kind of novel.
People come just for that. And I also have 790 positive reviews you can see here.
Sheriff Matt, if you'll get those reviews for me. I want to take a peek at them.
Reviews, I'm proud to say.
Let's see what the folks...
All ages.
What the folks say here. Well, you got one here that says... only house where throwing stuff on the floor won't get you grounded. Then another one says, be a boss, crack, eat, toss. Sounds like a fun place.
What we do.
And then the final one says, real cowboys drop their nuts on the floor. I'm gonna stop reading these right now, okay? But you got a fun place. People come there to have fun.
Absolutely, it's a packed crowd every night of the week.
And part of the fun is throwing these nuts on the floor, drinking beer, just kind of real laid back.
A great time. It adds to the country atmosphere.
And that's what you all had anticipated the retirement party would be, right?
Well, I didn't anticipate it to be that much peanuts on the floor. When I went to tour the place, it was only a few shells on the floor.
So you didn't know that people throw shells on the floor?
I did not.
Look at this. This is a shot of the floor in the restaurant.
At my party, right. That wasn't like that the day I went on a tour.
Well, y'all must have had either a lot of elephants or a lot of people that like peanuts.
It was a lot of peanuts.
That's a lot of peanuts. So tell me how you got injured.
So
That's not true.
We're having fun, we're drinking, we're eating, and I didn't know that the restaurant was known for the nuts. I thought it was known for the food. So we're eating, having a good time, we're laughing and drinking. So one of his waitresses walks over to me and said, well, you're retired. Why don't you start a conga line? You know, I'm a party person.
I love them.
I like to dance, which, as you can see there, I'm a dancer. So I love dancing. I had no problem with dancing, so I got up. As soon as
now, those can get pretty rowdy, right?
As soon as I stepped on the floor.
Depending on how much beer you've had, you know?
Well, I didn't have any beer.
Okay.
So as soon as I stepped on the floor, bam. I mean, I fell and bust my behind. I started screaming, crying. I felt my leg was broken, my hip, I couldn't move. My husband's trying to comfort me, and I'm like, get off me. I mean, I'm just hysterical because I'm embarrassed, first of all.
So you saw this, Mr. Richardson?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm embarrassed, I'm in pain. The only thing I didn't hit was my head, which I'm glad.
So, Mr. Hickman, this conga line, your waitresses and waiters having a good time with the patrons, is that what you expect them to do?
Yeah, I mean, they come around, and if people are having a good time, they tell them to get up and get in the conga line. It's just part of our fun atmosphere.
So you've seen conga lines in your place before?
Absolutely, and we've never had an incident.
How'd you know that Miss Richardson was hurt?
Well, I was working the register, and I heard this shrieking scream. I turned around, and my waitress was running over to her. I saw that it was her on the ground, and I called 911 as soon as I could to get her help.
Did you know how she got down there to the floor?
No, I just heard a scream, and we just wanted to help her.
You should have came over to me. You're the owner.
I was on the phone with 911. So I had to talk to them for a while, so I couldn't run over and be your aide because I'm on the phone with your help.
Everybody has a cell phone.
I have a heart.
Miss Richardson.
You could have came to me.
Address your comments to me. Let me get to this thing. I know this is important to you.
I'm just
you all rigged up there. I understand.
Peanuts are a staple of our restaurant, okay? People go nuts for our nuts. That's our slogan.
You see shells all over the floor. The conga line starts, and that's when disaster begins.
And not only did I fall, when I fell, I'm down on the floor, and I see not only are there shells on the floor, there's nuts down there too.
Okay.
Do you know what peanut oil can do to the floor? It makes things very greasy.
That's what you came for.
I didn't
That's
come
what-
for nuts. I came for the food.
Mr. Hickman, how is it that peanuts get on the floor? Aren't people supposed to eat the meat and throw the shells on the floor?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
is
so
there-
the shells are on the ground, not the peanuts.
Peanuts on the ground.
The peanuts being on the floor creates at least a
Oil.
different picture, right?
Yes.
Yes, but usually it's shells, it's not peanuts. So
Well,
it's not that much oil.
Somebody comes into your
after-
restaurant, they fall, they get hurt. How's that not your fault? It's your place.
Thank
Your
you.
nuts, your shells.
She knew the risks before coming there. She toured the place and said she wanted to book it there.
But it wasn't that
so
many
she
nuts
was
on the
satisfied.
floor.
I thought, great, another happy
No.
customer. She even remarked, Your Honor, when she came and toured the restaurant, she remarked how much she
This is
loved the place and
this
how
is
much her
before the
friends.
party.
Correct, and how much her friends were going to love it too.
Right, because
Well,
it was a
okay.
do you
casual-
remember that?
Yes.
Did the floor look like that?
No.
She came during
No.
lunch. It wasn't
No.
as bad as that.
No.
Okay.
See,
There were
thank you.
clearly there were shells, discarded shells on the ground. Make
Had
sure
I
it's a safe
known it was
walkway.
going to be like that, I would have worn different shoes.
Now,
What? People go nuts for our nuts? What did you think that meant?
Well,
That
what
they
did
just like
Miss-
nuts.
Miss Richardson?
They like crazy people. I knew they
Who
were.
wears open-toed shoes? Why not
Mr. Hickman,
flats?
Mr.
It
Hickman,
didn't match my outfit. Come on.
order in this court.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Order in this court.
Sorry, Your Honor.
You guys got to talk to me.
I'm sorry, Your
If
Honor.
you want her to make the decision, keep talking to her. I got to figure this out.
Okay.
Okay?
Sorry, Your Honor.
So you slip
Right, I slipped
and
on
you
some
hit the
nuts.
floor. When did
Broke
you
my
know
hip.
that your shoulder was badly hurt?
Not only my shoulder, I have a broken hip. So my whole life has changed. I retired after 30 years. My husband and I have
So
plans
you
to
hurt your
travel.
hip?
I have a broken
You hurt
hip.
your shoulder?
My shoulder, my knee.
Your
the only thing
knee?
that didn't hurt was my head.
And you got $125,000 in past medical expenses.
Yes, because my husband has to take me to physical therapy every other day. I'm retired. I was supposed to travel.
Yes, ma'am.
We have no quality of life anymore.
I see from your medicals that you tore your rotator cuff.
Yes.
Okay, how's that been?
It's not good. As you can see, as from my pictures, I was a traveler. I ride
Is that
elephants.
you on an
That's me
elephant?
on an elephant, yes. Which
Okay.
I can't do anymore. I ride elephants, I skate, I dance, I do all of these things, which my
You're very
quality of
active.
life is no longer. I'm depressed. I mean, I stay in the bed. He has to help me get dressed in the morning.
I see that you're asking this court for $200,000 for pain and suffering. Tell me about that.
Well, because I can no longer do the things I enjoy, I don't take care of my family anymore. I can't cook, I can't clean, I can barely dress.
How do you fix your hair?
My husband, it's a wig. He know how to put a wig on now. He's learned. Okay?
So, Mr. Richardson, you've been standing in the gap for your wife, right?
That ain't no question, Your Honor.
Tell me how this has affected you all's relationship.
My wife is depressed. She's not happy anymore. She was an outgoing person before. She used to like to travel. She used to like to go places and do things. She doesn't like to do that anymore. It's hard for her to get in the bed. It's hard for her to get out the bed.
Mr. Hickman, you see this is a big
unfortunate-
deal, right?
It's unfortunate that we're here under these circumstances and that you injured yourself, and I am sorry for that. But, you know...
Are you
this-
really sorry?
That's the first time he's ever said that, too.
Is it?
Yes.
How long have you owned this place?
16 years, Your Honor.
Did anyone ever tell you that they didn't go crazy for your nuts?
I did.
No, it's not my fault, okay? Her party was the main party, eating the peanuts and throwing them
No,
on
we
the
were
ground.
not.
So clearly that's
so
what
there
we
are
were
other
worried
there are
about.
other
Yes,
people.
we were not.
There are other
Yes,
people.
you were.
No, we weren't.
You actually
Order in
told
this
me-
court.
We were
Now,
not
I've said it one other time that you ought to address me. Mr.
Nobody
Richardson,
ever
did you
cleaned.
see anybody in your party throwing shells on the floor? You had to,
Yes, Your Honor.
right?
I did.
Everybody was throwing shells on the floor.
All of your entire party, their entire party were joining in the atmosphere fun with the peanuts.
'Cause that's
eating them,
part of the
throwing them.
good time.
That's what we do.
But it was just,
Right?
if it was just the shells, Your Honor, then it would be a different story. But there were peanuts. When I hit the ground, there were peanuts on the ground also.
I brought an exhibit to show you today.
All right. Go on over and
And
show
Your Honor,
me.
before he does that, they should have receptacles for the nuts to go into.
But then
Instead-
it wouldn't be the same place. It would be a YMCA.
Your Honor, I'm stepping on these peanuts and you can see how slippery it is. And it's not necessarily so much the peanut
Now
shell.
step on those nuts again. I want to see that. And you did that well. And you
For
did
you.
submit a video
I
to the
submitted a
court.
video for you to let you know that about 5 minutes time how much oil is left over from these peanut shells and peanuts on the floor.
Okay, let's take a peek at it.
So if I take this shoe and I crush these shells, I'm going to give it about 5 minutes, and you'll see this paper will be soaking wet with oil just from the residue and the peanuts. It's been 5 minutes, Your Honor. As you can see, this floor
Look at
is
it.
flooding from the residue and the peanuts. They're responsible for this. This is what caused my wife to fall. This is what caused her to hurt herself.
So, Mr. Hickman, you see all that oil on that butcher paper?
I do.
That could make somebody slip, though, huh?
It could,
Yes.
but with the material on the floor, it doesn't make it that slippery.
There have been conga lines before at your place?
Every night, yes.
And people just go all around, snaking around the restaurant?
And she was actually being loud and disorderly, and we had to calm her down.
She was being loud and disorderly.
She was dancing on the peanut shells, and
Put a little
we had
rhythm
to
in
keep
it,
the
you know,
walkway clear,
put a little
so we
rhythm.
had a server come over and tell her, and she goes, I'm the one paying for the party.
I was.
So, Miss Richardson.
Well, I was paying for the party, and now he's going to pay for what has happened to me. This injury, I mean,
Do you have to wear that brace
Yes.
all the time?
Yes, I do.
What happens when you go to sleep at night?
I sleep like this. So can you imagine? I kick him out the bed because we have a king-size bed. He has to sleep in the guest room. He can't enjoy me anymore. I mean, my life is over with him. But thank God he's a good man. He takes care of me.
He seems like a good man.
He is. He is.
Now, Mr. Richardson, you heard Mr. Hickman talk about how she was up dancing, having a good time. She was dancing, having a good time, right?
She was supposed to be dancing and having a good
After
time.
30 years?
It's not right. It wasn't, like I said, again, it was the oil
She was
from all
wearing
those
high
peanuts
heels,
on the floor
Your Honor.
that caused her to slip.
Open-toed high heels.
If water was
And
spilled
she
on
wore
the floor...
high heels and open-toed shoes.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
To a country-themed bar. Maybe something a little more appropriate.
Because it
Flats or,
matched
say,
my
boots.
outfit. It matched my outfit. I'm sorry.
Somebody's gonna go to jail today.
Nope.
Address your comments to me. Y'all are making me nuts. Mr. Hickman, you mentioned that she was wearing high-heeled shoes. Don't many people come in? I mean, women wear high-heeled shoes, right?
Yes.
And they probably have done it, and everything's fine. So when she wears these, apparently these aren't appropriate for her, but, you know, she wasn't even worried about the nuts because she was dancing on top of the nuts.
Now, Miss Richardson, your husband crushed those shells on the video with a high-heeled shoe. Is that the kind of shoe you had on?
It's almost the same shoe, except those were my black ones, which I
Okay.
can no longer wear anymore. All of my heels I cannot wear
Because
anymore.
of your hip injury?
Yes. I have to wear little flat shoes now.
I think I've heard enough. I think I'm ready to render my decision. Folks, in every personal injury case, the plaintiff, that is you all, the Richardsons, you have to prove that the defendant committed a wrong, that Mr. Hickman committed a wrong, that his wrong caused your injuries. You have proven today that there were peanuts on the floor, that there was oil on that floor, that there were shells on that floor, and that a waitress allowed you to, or encouraged you to come and do a conga line. You did the conga line, you slipped and fell, and had a terrible retirement experience.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hickman, you run a restaurant that people throw peanuts and shells on the floor. She should have known this. That's why she booked the place, because of that shtick. This had never happened to you before. And frankly, you've been making the point that it's obvious. People are here for our nuts.
People go nuts for our nuts, Your Honor.
Under the law, I've got to consider everybody's responsibility. But here's the problem. Your waitress started a conga line, and that's what tips the scales. Here, I find that you are partially responsible for your injuries, but I'm going to find in your favor only because your waitress was involved. Mrs. Richardson, I find that you are 49% responsible for your injuries. You are suing for $325,000. 51% of that is $165,750. I'm making that award in that amount to you, taking into account your partial responsibilities for your injuries. I find in your favor in the amount of $165,750. That is my final verdict, and this matter is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Our attorneys across America just viewed this case for the first time. Let's hear what Andrew Finkelstein has to say.
Two things stand out in this verdict. First, the defendant's employee started this incident when she encouraged the conga line. The employer is responsible for the negligent acts of the employee when those actions are done in the course of their employment. Second, the waitress should have been cleaning the floor instead of starting a party. The restaurant knew that the shells and crushed peanuts could make the floor dangerous, but failed to remove the hazard.
Your Honor, this is nuts. I didn't do anything wrong. This is gonna close.
Sir, you don't get to talk to me like that in my courtroom. Now get him out of here. Get him out of here, Matt.
Bye-bye.